Hi, guys. Welcome to Bar Exam. I am your host, Allie, and I'm here with my amazing co hosts. Say hi to the people, Marcus
What's up? What's up? What's up?
and Eric G.
What's up, everybody?
I hope that everybody had an amazing week, but I know that we definitely were shocked at some of the news that was going on this last week. If a lot of you didn't know, it was reported that the Migos member Takeoff was shot down while he was out with Quavo. I believe that they were in Atlanta. Marcus?
Houston.
Oh, they're
Houston.
in Houston? Okay, they were in Houston. And unfortunately, Takeoff passed away from the entire whatever happened. There was a situation that happened and he was shot, and unfortunately, he did not make it. And so we decided that for this episode, we definitely wanted to highlight the Migos, but more specifically, the Unc and Phew team up that Quavo and Takeoff decided to do as well. And so we're going to be taking a look at on today's bar examination. We're going to be taking a look at Hotel Lobby by Unc N Phew. So far, it has had like 84 million streams on Spotify, and it is their debut album as Uncle and Nephew. But unfortunately, we won't be getting any other projects from it. So it's, if anything, I think it's really good that we at least got this from them. But yeah, so we can dive right into it, guys. So does anybody have like a favorite line from this song or anything that they want to like really highlight? I know I had a couple things. I just got to get my iPad out, but anybody else want to start it off?
So I'm gonna start it. The me because you got. I'm gonna start with the Migos, then go to the whole Uncle Few. So everybody knows the Migos group, but it was very at the time when they're the Migos to tell them apart. So then when then the famous line of academics, how does it feel to be left off bad and bougie? And he was like, so I'm like, he was left off. Like I'm like, well, what did he really contribute? Because you can't really tell them apart now.
Oh,
Now after hearing the last project, Neff and Uncle Neff, I feel like the Migos hid Takeoff, or Takeoff was more instrumental in the Migos than originally what's the word perceived. He was not third string at all. If anything, it's more of the backbone of what they put together. And I hate to say that it always happens like after people die, you start paying attention to things more. But I really thought he was a third string, member of the Migos. And after this last project, and actually even seeing his Drink Champs and some other things, he was more of the orchestrator, kind of put it together than originally perceived, or that they even let it on the beat. They always let Quavo and they always let Offset be the two front members of it, and he was just more laid back. And now after this last project, even I think Takeoff out rapped Quavo in this.
really? You think so? Why do you say that?
I think because more he's not ab libby, but it was more the bar structure. Like anybody can just put in the ad libs in there, but his bar structure was really like, okay, I see what you're saying. And it's and it and maybe it's kind of, I did listen to it after the Drink Champs interview, so I kind of,
Mhm.
it was like I kind of went into it with this whole 2 hour of just take off, take off, take off, and then I was listening to the music, so maybe that has something to do with it too. But I just never thought, from the years of listening to the Migos and everything, that he was this instrumental in
Yeah.
their success.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think I definitely noticed his talent a lot more when he did his own project. I like think I can't remember what the album was called, but my favorite song from it was "Last Memory." I know a lot of people loved Casper. Those are really great songs, and I feel like they kind of showed you, like you were saying, Marcus, that like he definitely has a very heavy hand in the making of the Migos, like the song, like the lyrics and the bars and stuff like that, because just of how well he did on that album on his own. And it really highlighted him the way that he needed to be honest. So I was very glad that he finally did an album on his own to show off his talents. And yeah, you're right. I definitely like listening to that album. I had to go back and listen to their other songs and be like, I feel like Takeoff wrote most of this shit. You know, I could be wrong, but like I do feel like he definitely had a very big hand. And I think that his wordplay is really good. Like at least I loved it. His vibe and his wordplay on his own solo project. And with Unc N Phew, I just wish that we had even more time, you know, to like really sit there and give him his flowers, because he dropped it and then it was like they did this like tour or something for like a month or so, and then, you know, unfortunately he passed away. So I just wish he got to see, you know, people really respond to it more than just, you know, the small pieces of it. But Eric, what do you think? How did you feel about, you know, Hotel Lobby or even the Unc N Phew collaboration?
All right, so I will start with my favorite Takeoff lyrics from Hotel Lobby and then just get into my thoughts about everything. So my favorite part in this song is when it's like towards the end of his first verse and he goes, "Do the shit for the fam cause the shit bigger than me. Colored stones in my infinity link and the factory masterpiece. I call him twin cause that be my brother. We got the same rollie, he matching me." So right off the rip, he's telling you like what he cares about and what he stands for. Like, yeah, he's gonna have the flashiness with him, but he's doing it for a bigger cause. He's doing it for the people around him, and so that he can see the people that he cares about eat around him. And for me, just listening to this whole project, it felt a lot like Migos' early stuff because a lot of people forget about this, but Offset was locked up for a long period of time during their first initial run, like right after Versace came out and everything like that. He got locked up again. So Quavo and Takeoff really had to hold down the fort, so to speak, while he was incarcerated. And I think a lot of people sleep on that era and just the way that Takeoff and Quavo held it down for so long. And just looking at that time period and looking at everything that's happened up until this point, it's just really unfortunate because I feel like Takeoff is one of those guys who, like, people always knew he could rap. People always knew that he was talented. But I feel like when it came to the whole conversation of, oh, who's the best Migo, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, it was always kind of put on like the pedestal of, oh, Quavo's the Beyonce of the group, or Offset is whatever of the group. But then you would never see people champion Takeoff until people kind of started making it like a mission to be like, no, like, do you not hear Takeoff? And to me, um, I think you said it best, Ali. He was the backbone of that group to me because I think Quavo had a mix of he had the melody down pat. Like that's always been his strong suit. He can rap still, but his strong suit is the melody. Offset is a chameleon. He can kind of hop in and out of both. Takeoff was the straight, I'm giving you bars and I'm giving you ad libs. All that was the other thing about Takeoff that people sleep on him for is his ad lib game was insane. But yeah, I just think all three of them that you couldn't have one without the other to me. So like even when this project initially dropped, I was excited for it, but it still felt like there was a missing piece. And now that Takeoff is no longer with us, it just makes it a lot harder to go back and look at all those moments because it's one of those moments where like people are like, oh, we should have gave him his flowers while they were here. He even said it in the interview. He was like, hey, I want in the Drink Champs interview, I don't want my flowers then, give them to me now. So I think though that statement is very poignant throughout this entire project because Takeoff, just like you said, Marcus, Takeoff to me on this album showed that he was the better, like he could hold his own out of all three of those guys.
For sure. I totally agree. And I'm very glad that you used that specific, like those specific lines, because that's honestly my favorite part of the song. Like, I feel like, we've heard it all from the Migos about the money and the cars and the bitches and the, all that kind of stuff. But my favorite thing about any rapper is always going to be like, what do you do it for? Like, where do you come from? Like what wakes you up in the morning, kind of a thing. So for them to do this album together, I think first, like, a lot of people forgot for a minute that they were actually uncle and nephew, and that this really is like a family thing. And so when he put it in his bars where he's talking about, I call him twin because that's my brother. Like, I think that he truly actually feels that way. And then further down, they also say, where is it? They say, I got your back, you can follow me, nigga. When I get up, we gonna ball on these niggas. Fucking shit up because we beat out the system. Like, hearing that, like, I love when they remind people, like, we did not come from, old money. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, now we've had money for a while now. We've been in the game for a minute, but we did, like, we pulled this out the mud and we did this together. We're actually family members, and we feel more like brothers than just uncle and nephew, and especially because they're a little bit closer in age than the normal uncle and nephew type of age frame. But yeah, so I love that you picked that line, especially because it just really shows the family dynamic and what they really did it for. And I think it's different. It's outside of the realm of doing the regular, just talking about all of your money and your jewels and stuff. That's cool. That's always going to get you streams and stuff. But I think reminding people, like, we're brothers, we did this is why we're now going to do this collaboration together, because we're bringing it back full circle. I love that. But it is sad though too. It's kind of like this bittersweet moment. So we'll definitely, I think that we're very lucky to have had this album, and that he had his own projects as well. And then we have all of the amazing, Migos albums and everything, the bangers that they have. But it is really sad to see somebody who really could have been a legend in his own right, pass away so soon. So, yeah.
I think that legend status is solidified for them, all three of them at this point.
Yeah.
Because you don't get a lot of rap groups who put in the work and the numbers and reach the heights that they have. We have had a lot of really great rap groups in just our lifetime, and a lot of them have thankfully gone on to last. Like the Lox is still here, Dipset is still here to a certain extent. Like, we still have a lot of great hip hop groups that still have a lot of their founding people still here. And I think the skies was the limit for the Migos. Like, this wasn't it for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this was just the beginning. Like, they only had a few like group albums out. They were working on solo stuff. We still don't even know what Offset's album sounds like yet. So like there's a lot of different ways that we could have seen this story play out, and yeah, it's just unfortunate that it has to have played out like this.
Yeah. And I actually, when we talk about like rappers and how like they might portray themselves as gangsters, and you know what I mean, like in their lyrics and in their music, and we don't really know if in real life, or some people do know, and certain people in real life are not that. It's interesting that we picked this one, because even looking back at some of the lines, like, they mentioned that they were from the streets and stuff. And they're like, in one of the bars, it says, I was outside just serving narcotics. Pass me the stick, nigga, make one wrong move, just pop them. And it's sad to see that, like, no matter how much money that they had, and how much security that they had, that like shit can really go left no matter what. And if you're around people who still have that same mentality, or if you still have that kind of same mentality, and you're all intermingling, then unfortunately things can happen and stuff like this, like one wrong move and someone unfortunately loses their life. So it's actually kind of crazy looking back at lyrics like this, where I don't think that they meant it to ever mean, that it like happened to them, like they were shot or they were hurt. But it's crazy to see how like it still follows you, like you're now rich and you're famous and you're a celebrity, but these things can still come back up because of the certain type of people you have around you, the certain type of mentality. So I don't know, and I really don't understand what even happened with that whole situation. Like, Marcus, do you know anything? Like, it just sounded like a random dice
Uh,
game that went wrong.
well, I don't know if it was random. I mean, niggas shoot dice every day, you know. So I mean, they was shooting dice, got it from the way it was told. I wasn't there. He was playing dice. Quavo was losing. He was losing. I mean, he just was losing. Got
Mhm.
into an argument, and it's not so much that he got into an argument because it was first reported that it was a random person that he got into an argument. Then we found out that it was Jay Prince Jr.
Oh wow.
And that name has some weight in the industry. You know, it's I mean, for all intensive purposes, it's the modern day version of Lil Meech. You know, with BMF. That's just to kind of put the same street moniker on him. So I mean, and they had words, and then shots were fired. So, like I said, we weren't there. The videos say one thing, people and their actions in the street say another, and then somewhere in between there's the truth. I think what's going to come out of this, though, at the very end of the day, is that the line of street and celebrity is no longer going to be blurred, because I think rappers are going to take a hard look internally of not being put in nigga situations. And that
Yeah.
was a straight up street nigga situation when you don't necessarily need to be in that situation. There's nothing you can tell me. I'm in Houston and it's the World Series going on, and I'm just gonna fuck around and shoot dice at a bowling alley. I mean, that's just
Who
Yeah,
knows? Like you said, I guess they play dice every day, but
yeah. I mean,
I think that you're right. I
Jay
think you're
Z's a
right.
billionaire. He ain't fucking shooting dice with Khaled and fucking be in the Louis Vuitton people when he goes see, like, they not shooting dice. I mean,
Yeah.
they talking about other shit on the G5. Like, they just not. I mean, them niggas not shooting dice.
Yeah.
So I
And but I
mean,
think that it shows like how you can have all this money or feel as though like you're so separate from that life, but when you continue to hang around certain people or continue to have that mentality, like they literally put it in their music, you know what I mean?
yeah,
That like that's
yeah,
where they came from and that's where they grew up. So it kind of shows that like, yeah, you might have all the money and all the riches and stuff, but people around you might still have this kind of, mentality where it's like they're coming straight out the gutter. And if they feel as though somebody that they're with is being disrespected or whatever, they don't care about who you are, where you're from, and how much money you have. You know what I mean? So I think that we're definitely in this era of almost like kind of like a rerun of like the 90s. Like, like Pac was definitely gangster, was definitely out here talking his shit, and it caught up with him, unfortunately. And so I feel as though like a lot of rappers now are kind of going back to that, where it's like you see Lil Durk, he's kind of poking the bear, or you see the baby out here kind of poking, you know what I mean? And then you even see Young Thug like putting stuff in his songs and it not even necessarily being about him or situations as he's been in, but somehow he gets pulled in on a case. So
right.
I think that it's interesting to see it in the lyrics, but people need to realize that there's a reality to it, and that could be not so glitz and glam. Not everything that glitters is gold.
You just hit on something real quick too. And I mean, we do this show for fun because we like love the culture, we love the music, and we, are fans at the end of the day. You mentioned Thug, and I remember like when we were doing this show, like, damn, I felt like if we were all prosecutors and had law degrees, we'd be doing this is what like the feds do. They listen to the lyrics and they go in and they trying to, pin cases. But then I heard Thug's lawyer, I think it was a TMZ clip, and he was like, it's just freedom of speech, it's just interest, because everybody remembers Cowboys and Indians. Everybody remembers the song I Shot the Sheriff. I didn't shoot the
Mm,
deputy. No one sit there and was like, oh, that lyric made me to be a cop killer. We never said that.
true.
that's
We
very
never
true.
said that. But in hip hop or in our culture, we like, oh no, you said you was on the we do say that. Oh no, he was there. He did that. He met that. He rapped about it. Why can't it be the same thing?
You're
You
right.
know.
You're
So
absolutely
Yeah.
right. You're right. But I think that like this was the one instance where we see that like the lyrics were a little bit too close to reality, you
oh
know?
yeah, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
agree.
I think that you're 1,000% right though, that like you shouldn't be I don't think that rap culture should be penalized or villainized for for honestly for just their lyrics. I mean, like you said, it's artistic, it's freedom of speech, so in general, I think that we got to pay more attention to these lyrics and to these rappers and see if it really like adds up, like if it really is close to reality or not, but not in a way of like we're gonna send anybody to jail or anything like that, but just so that we can like it's almost like sometimes these rappers like foreshadow stuff in their lyrics that we are like that goes over our head at the time, but then you go back and you read their lyrics or that you listen to their songs and you're like, it's creepy how close to reality, or how that situation actually played out in real life, So I think that from now on, like rap fans are definitely going to be paying more attention and realizing that like some people really are just being a persona. Some people really are just playing the part of a gangster or a thug or whatever to try and sell albums and records and all that kind of stuff. But some other people actually live this shit, really live this life, have that mentality, and no amount of money is going to change them. Not bad, not good. It's just you gotta be cognizant of that. So I think anybody else coming up who wants to idolize these people need to be careful. That's all. Be very mindful. But all right, guys. So next thing, we got to move into our next segment. So this is a segment where we basically tell the truth about whether or not we know the lyrics. So this is called Do You Swear to Tell the Whole Truth? So we're going to be honest in this segment and we're going to say whether or not we knew these songs. Does anybody want to start off?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay.
I'm be a listener.
I'll keep it in the theme of the Migos, and I'm gonna go with a classic Migos song, Versace.
Mm.
To this day, I still don't know all the words to the song, especially the original. To this day, I could tell you Drake's verse, probably maybe the first couple of bars, but that's about it. And then once we start getting into, because this was the thing about Versace. This was the time when the Migos first came out, when the claim of you really couldn't understand what they were saying. This is the only time that, to me, that held true was when they first came out. Because I think afterwards they got a lot more clever with how they got their point across in their songs. But when they were brand new, when they were first coming out, I didn't know anything that they were saying, especially again, RIP to Takeoff, especially Takeoff's verse. You can do Churi, I do Versace, you cop the Honda, I cop the Mazzy, you smoke the mid, I smoke exotic. I didn't know he said any of that. I didn't because he was back then. Takeoff's voice, the way he used to rap on the song was like a lot more muffled. So he would be saying it. He'd be saying it like this. He'd be like, "You do the tree, I do Versace," or something like that. Like you wouldn't know what he was really saying. But
I
then,
think that's why
know,
people
a
slept
little
on
more
him
time
too.
goes on, and he gets a little more cadence in his voice. He gets a little more enunciation in his bars.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, I swear to you, I didn't know anything that they were saying on that song. I just thought that Zaytoven killed that beat, and I was like, who are these three niggas? I need to know more about them.
Right?
And I wish I could understand what they were saying.
Same.
But
I used to love
Versace.
That's definitely the song. It was like Versace, and then when they went stupid, it was like Bad and Bougie, and it was like you couldn't tell them niggas nothing. So yeah, I'm glad that you picked that one because I think even recently Drake mentioned Versace in one of his new songs where he was saying like, I think Quavo sent me some song called Versace or something, and I'm like, oh yeah, like that was back in the day when shit was like really lit and they were just coming out, and what was it? It was like Wayne was on top, and you know what I mean, he had like Cash Money and all that
Wow,
shit.
Wayne was still on top when the Migos came out. That's crazy
Yes.
to think about.
Isn't it? And then to
That's
see
really
how
crazy to
rap, like
think
it's
about.
almost like they've kind of changed rap just by them dropping, you know what I mean? Like they definitely made a new lane for sure. Marcus, is it okay if I go next?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, mine's really quick. I really just so my song is Cocoon by Migos. I wanted to again stay with the theme. And I did Cocoon only because I used to just be like thinking that they were like really just talking about taking drugs and being like in their own head. But then like I was looking at the lyrics again because I just kept feeling like feel like I'm missing something. Like I don't understand why you keep saying cocoon. Like I just don't get it. But I think like now that I'm really reading the lyrics, I think it's really just talking about like when you get so successful, you kind of feel like it's just you up there, you know? So they literally say, by myself at the top like cocoon. When I'm in the coop, I feel like a cocoon. Designer, gifts, red bottoms, baboon. We the wave typhoon. And then it just continues to go on about, you know, their cars and all this kind of stuff. But I am glad that I looked back at it because I really feel like when some songs from Migos, I feel like if you just hear like the very like if you hear designer gifts, red bottoms, baboon, you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? But they like Eric was saying, like they got better over time and they definitely like had better wordplay, better metaphors, or just the way that they set up shit was a little bit better, you know? So this wasn't my favorite song, but I am glad that like I can go back and be like, okay, like I kind of understand where they're coming from now that, you know, when you're up there, you make a lot of money or like all eyes are on you, you feel like you're in a cocoon, you're by yourself kind of a thing. So that was the song for me.
I
Marcus,
used to
what
play
about you?
Cocoon on repeat.
Well, and staying with the whole Migos themes, give no fucks. Give no when that was like my guilty pleasure Migos song. It was like we don't get no fucks, we don't get no fuck shit, we don't get like give no fucks was like almost an anthem because you could really just go up to people and be like, I don't give a fuck. We give no fucks in public, out in the street. We give no fucks. Like, and you know, it's so sad that like I wish there was a way, like as a culture, that and I don't know how you could call it. It's the whole give you your flowers before you know to receive that. You remember back in the day, they used to do like artist spotlights.
Yes.
And then,
Mhm.
you know, if something happened, they would play your artist spotlight to you. And that was kind of like your buy, you know, oh, Takeoff, granted from Atlanta. So, like, it would be his artist spotlight. It wouldn't be his, oh my God, he's gone. Let me go
Yeah.
do a documentary on him, you
Yeah.
know. So, I really wish we could get back to like artist spotlights so you can go into these deep dives of people and their careers while they're living, you know again, you know, so that like you can say, oh yeah, I saw that they played the Migos artist spotlight, and then that's what you know. Instead of just now, we like, oh damn, do you remember this and do you remember that? And that's just me personally. But give no fucks was definitely it for me.
Amen. Yeah. So yeah, I think you're totally right on that. I think that we're definitely missing in that area. I think it wasn't it on like on a certain channel or show. Maybe that's why we don't have that anymore because that was
Um,
kind of a thing that
Even if
really
it was
made
if
sure.
they bring back behind the music, shit, we still got
Yeah,
VH1.
that's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
Yes, it was
Or
behind the
even
music.
unplugged.
yeah.
Yeah,
Shit, could you
absolutely. That should
imagine
be a thing now.
Amigos unplugged?
Oh man.
Shit, I didn't even know until he died. I swear to God, I didn't even know he did an NPR Tiny Desk concert. I never
Oh
saw that.
yeah, that's one of my favorite videos.
I
One of my
never
favorite videos
saw
I've
that.
Me
ever done.
neither. So just him solo?
No, they did it as the group, but
Oh,
still,
that's lit.
I never knew it was. I
Me
never knew
neither.
that.
And I love those. I love those Tiny Desk concerts. I think they're so dope. Like they actually turn out really cool. I love those. So I'm definitely gonna look that one up for sure. Absolutely. All right, guys. So last but not least, me and Marcus are gonna team up to finish that rhyme. Eric is gonna drop us a little bit of some bars so me and Marcus can try and team up together and finish it for him. So, Eric, lead the way.
All right. R.I.B. to my boy Takeoff. I got a good one for y'all. All right. Young nigga popping with a pocket full of cottage. Whoa, Kimosabi chopper hanging at your noggin. Had to cop the Audi, then the top I had to chop it. Niggas pocket watches, so I gotta keep the rocket. Neck water faucet, mocking birds mocking, act pint stocking, gnats keep thotting, wrist on hockey, wrist on rocky. Lot of niggas copy, huh? Name someone can stop me.
Hey, just fucking keep it going.
Right. You're good.
I know you did the whole. Just keep it going. Just keep it going, man.
Bitches call me Poppy.
Just keep it going.
Sachi, that's my hobby. Sachi Scotty down in Molly. Pocket rocket Molly.
Okay.
One off in the chamber. Ain't no need for me to cock it. Niggas get to dropping when that Draco gets to popping. All I want is college. Roll a cigar, broccoli. No check. All I want is cash, no deposits.
Hey. This is one of your favorite rappers.
Dog.
He ain't mess up on shit.
Dog. When T-shirt first dropped, and when they let Takeoff just run with the beginning of this shit, I was like, he out of here. He out of here.
Yeah,
That's my favorite Takeoff
put
verse.
me on game. I didn't even.
Bro,
know
that's
that
my
dude
favorite
was locked
Takeoff
up.
verse ever.
I didn't even know dude was locked. I didn't even remember that Offset was locked up when they first came out.
Right,
Like,
me neither.
You put me on real. Like, that's some real. Like, I always call myself a Yo Gotti stan because I've listened to Cocaine Music 1 all the way through 8. Like, yeah, I mean, but you were for real out. Yeah, you was a Takeoff fan, buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a salute right there.
Yeah, and you did great on that. You did amazing on that one.
Yeah, I messed up a few times, but we
Nah,
it's all
you did
good.
really. You
It's all
did better than we would have fucking did.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you run with that one. I ain't
Hell
even.
yeah! You know what you also made me realize is that they like their ad libs. They use like, I feel like a lot of rappers use like their similar ad libs or whatever. But I realized like he really like leans towards the mama, cookie, rocket. He says cottage cheese a lot. Like he loves those bars. I swear to God, he'll figure out a way to rhyme some shit with that. So I thought that was really good. Do you have another one for us, or I was like, you did great on that.
Oh man, no, don't put me on the spot. That was
end it on the high note.
I agree.
Yeah,
if anything else would just be a disservice completely. So thank you, Eric. You killed that one. You definitely get the points for that one. But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching Bar Exam. We are going to see you guys on the next one. But first, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, we thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.